Hi, everybody. My name is Polly Schneider. I'm the Executive Director of the Sheboygan Area Chamber of Commerce, and we are really happy today to bring to you Denise Klein. She is with the Heritage Route US 23 program, and she's going to give us a history on the program, how it works, and how you as an organization or business can be involved in this project. So I would like to welcome everyone. We're going to try to keep it to about an hour, and I'm going to turn things over to Denise here.
Thanks, Polly. So I'm going to share my screen. Oh, I think you have to do something, Polly, first.
Yep, I'm doing it right now.
It doesn't like what I tried, so.
Yep, so you are the host now, Denise. Take her away.
All righty, I'm going to share screen one. I've got several screens here. Okay, let me just do a little rearranging so I can see everything. All right, so you should be seeing my first slide, regional tourism, NEMCOG, correct?
Yes.
Awesome. So I am Denise Klein. I'm with the Northeast Michigan Council of Governments, otherwise known as NEMCOG. I'm a planner, chief planner and deputy director. I've been with NEMCOG for about going on 17 years, working for Northeast Michigan. So we are, just briefly, we are a nonprofit that is really a governmental, quasi-governmental agency. We have governmental units which are members of our organization, and we do a lot of different things, including planning, zoning, economic community development. So one of our programs is the US 23 Heritage Route program. So I'm going to take you through a wild ride through some slides to give you a little bit of history and kind of explain, you know, what the program is, what we've done, and then really how throughout this whole thing, I think you'll recognize how to get involved, as whether it's just a community organization or a business. So the US 23 Heritage Route is part of a program called Pure Michigan Byways, and you may have heard of it, you may have not heard of it. It used to be called the Michigan Heritage Route Program. They rebranded the program in 2014 to more align it with the Pure Michigan program. So they created a new logo. This program is administered by Mdot. So this is a transportation program, even though really it's a tourism program. So it's a tourism program that's kind of housed within Mdot. And all of the byways in the state are staffed mostly by the regional planning agencies, which is what our agency is. We're a regional planning agency. So the criteria for being a byway is you've got to have some kind of a unique quality. And I've listed those qualities there on the screen, you know, whether it's cultural, historic, archaeological, natural, recreational, and scenic. Now, technically, US 23 is classified as a recreational Pure Michigan Byway, but I think you'll recognize that we actually have all 6 of those things. So I don't think that we can totally exclude those. These slides are a little bit old. There's been a few byways that have been added, but I just wanted to give you a sense of where the rest of these are. So the recreational routes you'll see there in red on the map, we are the longest recreational route. We go from Standish all the way up to Mackinac City. So it's approximately 200 miles. I'm just going to show you 2 more slides. These are our scenic routes in Michigan. And again, there's been a couple added since I made these. Most of them are in actually Northwest Michigan. And this is the way the Heritage Route program used to be. It used to be classified as 3: historic, scenic, or recreational. Historic routes, you'll see on the map, it only looks like there's 1, and that goes across the southern part of Michigan. The rest of the historic routes are actually on that map. You can't really see them very well because they're short. So historic routes tend to be very, very small, like through just a downtown or something. In terms of signage, one of the things we're working on actually is getting some more signage out there. So our old signage that used to be, we never actually had the signage up on the US 23 Heritage Route, used to be the signage there on the left. And the new signage is shown on the right. That's the example is on M22, which is also in the same program as US 23, M22 Pure Michigan Byway. I hear, and I have not seen them in person, but I hear that we actually have some Pure Michigan Byway signs up now on US 23. I just don't think there's that many, so you may not have seen one. I think that Mdot put them up at each county line, which is, you know, kind of a strange place to put them. I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure that's where they're located. So we're going to be working on trying to expand that signage, because that's one of the ways I think that local people can understand that we have this program in place, is to see the sign on the road. And without those signs, it's really hard to get the word out, other than what we're doing right now. This was back in 2004 when US 23 first got designated by the legislature to be at that time, heritage route. And there's a sign, actually there are 2 signs right now. It used to be called the Sunrise Side Coastal Highway. There's a sign, I believe, up in Mackinac City. So at the north and the south ends of the route, there's a sign. I more often see the sign in Standish, which you're coming off of when you're first getting onto 23. There's actually, the sign is still up. I'd like to change it just because sure would be nice to have our logo up there. Okay, this presentation was designed really to show outside of the region. So a lot of this stuff you already know, because you know how beautiful Northeast Michigan is, right? So this is just kind of an introduction. I'll go through them pretty quickly. This just to tell other people, you know, what is on our route. All those yellow dots on the map are all of the attractions that we've mapped and are up on our website. So it's a lot. You can see, looking at that map, that our program does not stick to just the 23 corridor, obviously. So a lot of those things that we put up on our website are county-wide. We really consider 23 a county-wide corridor. 23 is the pathway, but really what we're promoting is those 6 counties in Northeast Michigan. So just because you're off of 23, it doesn't mean that it's not. It is absolutely part of the program. And this, again, this is just to get everybody that's not in our region familiar with how beautiful it is. So this is just some of the imagery of our water. This is Akiak Falls. I love that picture. You know, water trails, land trails. Again, I won't waste time because you all know this is there. I love that picture of the sanctuary though. This was at Rockport. We had an event there, Discover Me on 23 event at Rockport. It was really great. I'll get to more on that a little bit. From sunrise to dark skies, we actually are looking at a co-promotion program with M33, which is not a byway, but wants to be a byway. So we're looking at, you know, the US 23 corridor is the sunrise coast, and they're looking at the M33 corridor being the dark sky byway. So we're trying to, you know, we haven't actually put the application in, but we've already got a logo and stuff for them, and we've actually already got a website ready, so that when they get designated, we can start co-promoting from sunrise to dark skies. So we kind of are taking in more of the Northeast Michigan region than just the coastal counties. So our program is actually, so I administer the program kind of at the regional level, right? Zoomed out view. And I try to coordinate all the different organizations that are partners in this program. We have a US 23 Management Council. So, because this is a program established by the legislature, there are requirements that we have to fulfill to continue to be a Pure Michigan Byway. We have to have a management council. Ours is a long route. So our management council is really, really big. And so it takes into account representatives from any local unit of government that's along that route, that 23 crosses. So whether that be county, city, village, township, everybody can have a rep on the US 23 Management Council. And then we also have, as you can see on that slide, we have CVB and chamber reps that can be represented on the council. We do have an Mdot rep and a DNR, US Forest Service. We partner with River Road National Scenic Byway because they actually intersect 23. So on all of our 23 materials, we also claim River Road as part of our attractions because that just gets more traffic, you know, to like our website. This Thunder Bay National Marine Sanctuary, Sunrise Coastal Coalition, which is kind of the marketing arm of 23. Saginaw Chippewa Tribe, Michigan Sea Grant. We have museum reps, private tourism reps, and I'm positive I'm forgetting people. And then I don't expect you to read through all those. This is probably really outdated because the partner list is way longer than that, but I just wanted to throw up some partners on a slide to just show kind of who participates and who has participated in the past with this program. Again, I'm not going to read those to you, obviously. So also as part of this program, again, it's an Mdot program, so we are required to have a corridor management plan. So very boring. It's like, 200 pages or something. Basically, what it does is it outlines, what's on the route. So we have to go through, location. We have to describe our committees. I had to do an inventory and an assessment. what we do for public outreach. And then the most important chapter there, chapter 5, goals, objectives, and strategies. So everything we do within the program has to fit within our goals and objectives. And we have a lot of goals and objectives. And then there's just some supporting documentation on the route. What's great about what Mdot has done by requiring these management plans is that the way they put them together is using the exact same criteria we would need to apply for national scenic byway status. So that is something we're talking about, that we can go beyond just being a state byway. And I think Mdot actually has asked us, because he thinks we're ready to go ahead and apply for national scenic byway status. So this management plan is going to help us with that. So that's a future program that we'll need participation in, and letters of support and stuff. So the management council, what we used to have was, we had a management council and we had 6 county teams. So there was a Sheboygan County team at one point. And we had this at the beginning of the program because we needed to get our act together. Like, what are we trying to do? I think for a long time, it's like we got designated as a route. This was before I was there. They got designated as a route, didn't understand, like, okay, great, we're a route. What do we do? So they had been meeting, the management council had been meeting. They had been going over, like the different counties would get together and they would say, yep, this is what is happening in our county right now. Okay. And everybody would report in, but nothing ever happened. So they never actually did anything with that. So when I came along, I said, well, I think this is a tourism. This seems like should be a tourism program, because not all the routes are focused on tourism. So like, for example, M119 Tunnel of Trees. All right, they're not a tourism program. Their goal as a byway is tree preservation. So they actually don't promote, even though everybody knows about Tunnel of Trees, they don't actively promote that. And they're more of a, we don't want so many people driving down the Tunnel of Trees. We just want to preserve the trees. So, but when I came into this program, it was really clear that these communities wanted to promote tourism. That was the big thing, right? So I said, all right, well, everybody seems to kind of still be competing against each other. The different communities, they weren't necessarily working together in terms of trying to promote as a group. So the first thing that the management council did is say, well, we need maybe a set of brochures to show that, we are all part of the same program. It's like, okay, well, then there was a lot of fighting at the time on like, what should we look like? Well, we don't want to look the same as them. And so anyways, I just said, everybody just stop talking. Let me go and figure out how we can do this. So I went home and said, all right, I'm going to put some brochures together, and brought them back to the next management council meeting. And I always put this quote up on when I do this presentation, because everybody just kind of looked at these brochures, and it was actually somebody from Rogers City said, wow, we look like a region. And then you saw the light bulbs go on above the heads in the room that were sitting around that table. It's like, oh, okay, we're a regional destination. So it was great. And it was like, after we did that, it was just, they were off and running, and they finally got it. It's like, yeah, we all should be promoting each other, because as a bigger region with more to offer, we can bring more people in, we're a more significant destination. So we start out with these brochures. We put these in the welcome centers every year. This is Mackinac Sheboygan, the brochure. This is the outside. I'm actually updating right now. I think Katie, you might have sent me some information to include on the brochure. This is the inside, very simple. It obviously doesn't have all of our wonderful things, but we can only fit so much in the brochure. So that's our brochures. We also did, and this is just getting into the history of things we've done and things we may still do again. We did a Pure Michigan campaign for quite a few years, maybe, 3 or 4 years in a row, where the Sunrise Coastal Coalition, that's the marketing arm of US 23, so basically went and raised money all the way up and down the route. I think from Sheboygan, I don't think Mackinac was involved, but I think it was from Sheboygan all the way down to Standish. They raised money from, usually it was local units of government, to all go together to create this featured destination on Pure Michigan, which is the Sunrise Coast. So we had a summer campaign, which is Back to the Water, fall campaign, which was called A Different Direction. I did include, so I'm going to give you this presentation, Polly, so that you can click on those links. I put the links for those Pure Michigan. They were radio commercials. They were radio ads that played obviously outside of our region, and they played downstate. I believe they played in other states. So those are still available. If we ever wanted to start that program back up again and create a fundraising campaign to do that again, we still have those, Tim Allen radio commercials available that we could use. So our website, so this was the big project because obviously we needed to promote ourselves and promote all of our attractions on our website. This is actually the second version of our website. So this is just the cover page. I'm actually going to bring up the website in just a second. I want to just give you some statistics. So we've had, over 500,000 users of our website since it went live. Now we don't have a lot of advertising. The only advertising we really ever done was the Pure Michigan campaign. Okay, so the users to our website are coming there from Google searches, and because we have such a high level of content, we have a lot of content on our website, and we rank pretty highly, in the Google searches, and so we've had 1.5 million page views. So people are using this thing year round, and I'm not saying it's a huge number of people, but for not advertising, we're pretty happy with the fact that people are using this website. It's a plan your trip website. So in the winter, we get about 150 people a day, which obviously isn't much. But when in the summer, it goes up to between 300 and 1,000 people a day, depending on the year. Now, this last year, it was higher than it's ever been before. So during COVID in 2020, our website use just went, through the roof. We had more brochure requests during that time. It was pretty surprising. I'm actually going to bring up, I just think it's a really good idea to bring up the website because I think it's easier to show you the website than for me to talk about it. So can you see it now, the live website on your screen? Okay, so this is our front page. If you scroll down, you see that you have a map that you can click on just to go to any of these places. We also classify all of our attractions into these 3 categories: outdoor adventures, art, culture, and history, or eat, shop, and sleep. We also, if you keep scrolling, we have our events list, very short right now. We need to populate our events list. Our events list was empty, obviously, during 2020. But we need to I know events are starting to be planned now. So, and then we have some specific trails and tours. We have right now, I'm actually going to go back to the slide for a second here. We have over 2,300 things that have been uploaded to the website. So whether that's an attraction that might be a state park, a golf course, might be a local restaurant. These are our categories. It's a pretty messy slide, but I wanted to show you all of our different categories of attractions and activities that you can search for. And I'm going to show you how to do that in just a minute. But basically, the way we put this together is each of those 6 county teams at the time were the volunteers that actually went out and said, all right, we need to figure out what's in our community and upload onto this website. So they did that, and I sort of coordinated it and helped edit. What we did was we developed an online system where they could, anything they thought of, they could just type it into a form. It would go up on the website. I would approve it, and then it would go live to the public. So that's still that way, actually. We're still doing it. We have 60 people with editing accounts that can upload their own information in their own community. I'll go back to the website to show you in just a second, but I just kind of tell you how it works. So I do a lot of the maintenance on the website. Sometimes a local business will just contact me and say, hey, can you put me up there? And I'll do that. In some communities, it's the CDB or the chamber that says, well, we'll handle that for our community. I think that's the way Alpena does it, is that I think what they do is they make sure that their members are up on the website. We don't charge anything, okay? So there's no money that comes to us, but I think what Alpena does is they kind of use that as a benefit of being a member. Hey, we'll also make sure that we'll maintain your business or attraction on this website. So that's just something to think about. I don't know how Sheboygan wants to do that. Like I said, originally it was the Sheboygan County team that put this information up, but it has to be maintained because things change, new things come along, some businesses close. I don't always know when that happens. Every couple of years I'll go through and try to make sure we do a real thorough cleaning up, but it's better to have local people in the community taking a look at that and getting rid of things when things are closed and putting new things up there. All right, let me go back to the actual website now. Enough of my talking. So we have a page where you can download all of our materials. I'll show you more of that in a minute. We also have a page for every region. We call these regions, right? So every region in our route, you can go and look up attractions specifically for that region. So I could go to Mackinac City and Sheboygan. It's going to take a second because I'm on a video call, so my internet doesn't like that. Oh, it's not too bad. Okay, so this is Mackinac City and Sheboygan. what we have is we have an interactive map. So you can light up attractions. Like if you can say, oh, show me the birding sites around Mackinac City and Sheboygan, you can light those up on the map. You see how fast that worked? You could just say, I want to look at, you know, eateries. I already had that on, but it's going to zoom out to where all of the, what we call eateries are. You can also look at it in terms of, let me hide this, in terms of there's a list. So if I want to see like, oh, where are all the birding sites? I can just say add to map. It does add it to the map up here, but it also expands a list of all the sites below. You can get more information about each one of these sites. So every one of these sites on our website has its own mini page. Okay, so like I'll show you, for example, here's our eateries. I'll show you a recent addition. Queen's Head. Okay, so they maintain their own, the Queen's Head maintains their own page on our website. So we gave them editing access to maintain their own page. All right, so here's their mini page. All right, here's John smiling. They've got a slideshow going. So they have that, there's an option. It's very easy. You don't have to be a web editor. So you can do the slideshow that shows, you know, your business. They've got their logo here, a little map. You can do, you know, you got the email, you can visit their website from here, call them, find nearby places, you can get directions. Also, we have things to do. So every time you upload something, you can check boxes for what there is to do there. So types of activities, you know, for a state park, you have a list of 20 different activities that you can do at the state park. We also have an itinerary feature. You can just add them to your itinerary. All right. So this pops over on the right-hand side saying, oh, you got one place you're going to go. And so you can actually create a trip where you can renumber it and stuff, and then get driving directions to all of your stops on your itinerary. So it's pretty cool. I like to try it with the shipwrecks because it really confuses Google when you add the shipwrecks to your itinerary. So we do have the shipwrecks are also on here. So I'm going to quickly go to, you can also search based on your interest level. If you don't know where you want to go on the route, a tourist just says, well, I'm interested in art, culture, and history. Okay, so it's going to work really hard for a minute to bring up that page. Oh, I'm surprised it's as fast as it is. Okay, I obviously was on this page already today. I've got a bunch of stuff lit up already. Okay, so normally it would be a blank map and you light things up. So I'm going to scroll down. So for example, oh, there's a shipwrecks. Okay, so that's the shipwrecks in the Marine Sanctuary. And again, every single one of these things has a page, has its own page. That's why we rank really highly. There are thousands of pages on this website. We also have a page where we have our videos all ready to go. These are 5 of them. I'll cover those more in a minute. We have our events list. Again, needs to be populated this year. We've only got 3 right now, and this is just 3. Normally what I'll do about this time of year is I'll go steal some events from all of you guys' websites. I'll go see like what are some more major events that you have, and I'll put them up there myself, but be great if the communities could do that as well. We also lastly have this plan your trip feature. Okay. You're not seeing a real good version of it because my screen is too bright. Okay. So on your screen, when you look at it, you're probably going to see it a lot better than I am. I don't even see the boxes. You might be seeing them. So where you can actually check, like, I want to see where, you know, art and campgrounds and, you know, golf courses, and then you can pick some activities. I want to go biking, birding, and then you can, I'm not going to do it because it'll work for a minute, but you can either show a map of those sites that have all of those things or just show a list. Again, that's just another way to search on our website. So anyways, that's a real quick tour. There's more. We've also, well, you can look, I'll let you guys look at it yourself. Let me go back to this. So we also do social media. We have actually 2 different Facebook pages. This is all we, you know, I'm not a real big social media person. I don't know, I'm bad at it. Okay. So I do maintain these 2 Facebook pages. So we have like 9,200 followers. One is Heritage Route 23. One is Sunrise Coast. Way more followers on Sunrise Coast for some reason. Whatever I post on one, I post on the other. So it's just kind of, you know, I duplicate it because there's people in 2 different places. So we have within this program kind of programs, what I call embedded within our program. So 23 is kind of an umbrella, right? And then we have these things that fall under it. The birding trail, for example, is, you know, a subsidiary program of 23. Sunrise Wine and Hops Trail, not a lot happening with that right now, but I still keep it up and running on our website. It used to be a paid membership, not to our organization, but to the Wine and Hops organization, the Sunrise side. I don't think that I'm not even sure that they do that anymore, but I still have wine and hop sites up on our website as a trail. Art Town was another one where we had all of our arts and cultural destinations that we did like a separate brochure for and everything. So that's a subsidiary program of 23, and you can see kind of the artsy Route 23 thing on there. So I'm just going to go. These are some of our projects that whether it's the management council or the county teams have worked on over the years. So it's just helpful to know kind of what's out there. So in Standish, at the beginning of the route, there's a historic depot, which they renovated to be a Heritage Route Welcome Center. So that's like the first stop on the route usually. And they actually have all of our materials in there, brochures. And one of the really neat things is that when somebody stops into that depot, I mean, you can see it's beautiful inside. It's a really unique experience. They will not just talk about, oh, here's stay in Standish. They're going to tell, here's what's great all the way up the route. So they kind of send people on, and it's really, really helpful. So this is one of the programs of the Alcona County team. They wanted to do this quilt trail. So they had a quilt trail group. So the team just worked with the quilt trail group to say, hey, we can provide you with at least a brochure and get some exposure. So we have this available as one of our projects. Alcona County, but this is still Alcona County. They were really active a few years in a row, they were churning out all sorts of material. They created 5 different bike tour maps that you can download off of our website. They're made to fold into a certain size and put in like a little holder on a bike that talks about the historic things that you can see along this bike tour. They went out and rode the route and everything to make sure that, the road shoulders were good to ride on and everything. So they did 5 of these maps. Down in Iosco County, the Alabaster Trail and Arboretum, there's beautiful separated walking path there south of Tawas City. And they actually did a Arboretum, and they have like a tree identification, like these QR codes. You're supposed to identify these trees, you scan it, and it will actually, every one of these trees that they put a code on actually has an individual page on our website. The public doesn't see them unless they scan those QR codes. And I think it's like a guess what this tree is type of thing. And then you scan it and it'll go to that page on our website that shows that what that tree is. We also have on our website trails. I didn't even show you that. You'll have to look at it. So there's greenways, which are land trails and blueways. We have interactive trail maps for all of our trails, in that area, and as well as the Huron Blueways Trail. I'll show you a little bit more on that in just a second. We also have done 5 video documentaries. We have a YouTube channel. We haven't had 208,000 views. I guess that's not too bad considering, again, we don't advertise and we should. These are 5 mini documentaries. They're really, really cool. So one of them was a winter promotion documentary called Silence and a Map Guide. So again, this is one of the map guides that we need to get to you guys so that you can start distributing them. That shows, other winter recreation sites. And we also have on our website a winter tour. So you can actually just click on the winter tour and all those sites will already be lit up on the map so you don't have to do it yourself. So our latest documentary, Silence, I love that picture, actually got nominated for an Emmy Award for Best Commercial Campaign that year. So, it promotes winter tourism, and the dogs are the stars in one of the segments of the documentary. It's about 5 minutes long, so it's short, but it's my favorite one. But we actually did. We got nominated for an Emmy, and I think it was the Detroit Pistons that beat us, and I don't think that's fair, but because they have a lot more money than we do. So this was all funded through actually Michigan Coastal Zone Management Grant. So they've been very supportive of this program. I throw this slide in. It doesn't necessarily have to do with 23. It's just because I don't know how many communities know. There is actually a promotional video for every county in this is for our 11 county economic development region. Okay, so every county has a video. And I just pulled some screenshots out of the Sheboygan video. So, this is available also. And I don't know, how many people know about it. It's available to use for promotional purposes. It just sort of gives an overview of the trails there, the 400 miles of trails, median home prices, shows some of the businesses and kind of what's available. So this is more of an economic development thing, not a tourism video. Okay, that just says, hey, come locate here. So every one of our counties has that. So I can send you the link again to you know, to look at these. If you want to load them up, you can load them up on your websites. Okay, so another one of our projects, again, you need some of these. This is the map that goes along with the Sunrise Coast Birding Trail. This is just a very quick view. It's a very big map. This is just a quick view of what the inside and the outside of the map looks like. This was the Huron Blueways paddling atlas. Again, this is pretty cool. Okay, so it's a spiral bound paddle atlas showing all of the access points and distances and GPS coordinates for this Huron Blueways trail. This is a waterproof guide. So you need some of these also to give away. It's just as an example of what one of the maps looks like inside the guide. So you can see it's got the, you know, the distances from point to point and what's at, you know, the amenities available at these different places. And then we have a trails map. Again, it's in the same size as all these other maps I've been holding up, that just describes some of our trails and shows a picture of each one in the area. So that was fun. History. Yeah, look familiar. We got a historic map just showing. Now it's not we can never fit all of the historic sites on one map. So this was just what the council chose as like, here's the ones that we're going to focus on. Our latest, we have the magazine, the Heritage Route 23 magazine. Okay, so it's like 40 pages of all of our attractions. There's the one of the Sheboygan County appears on a couple pages, but there's one of them. All right, so this is, I don't have a physical copy of this one. This is the Mdot driving guide, so we're also in this. They actually put map of all the routes in the state. All right, so we're on this. Because we're long, we get a 4-page spread. Most of the routes just get 2, so we've got 4. So these are also, I think they're in the welcome centers as well. So there's our 4 pages. Again, I'm just going through some of the stuff we've done in the past. We have a subsidiary part of the program called Heritage Coast Sailing and Rowing, where the guys in the black t-shirt there holding on to the boat, he actually works with groups to build these boats. And it's a really cool thing just to learn how this boat building thing, that was the director of the DNR coming on a tour of US 23. So that's pretty neat. I already told you about this one, so I can skip this slide, the Dark Sky Byway. For 3 years in a row, we tried to get the word out to our legislators in terms of what we do and what good things are happening along our route. So we actually, Senator Molinar, he's now a US rep, but he was a Michigan senator at the time. He actually had this idea that we want to do a legislative tour along US 23, and it was a 2-day thing. So 3 years in a row, we did 2 days where he invited other legislators to come. He invited all the state department heads and, you know, all the who's who of everybody. And they did it. They did a 2-day tour each time, each of those 3 years. And these are just some photos of what we did. And it was really just a, hey, come and visit us to see how great we are type of tour. Okay, we weren't asking for anything. You know, we didn't say, hey, we want money. We want, you know, it was just it was fun. Okay, so here's just some pictures. We had a radio personality that went along with us. We did a lot of things. That's us going on the zip line at Mill Creek. We played laser tag. That was fun. So we also have done things like we did a dockhand hospitality training where we created these little US 23 sort of packets that the dockhands at the marinas could have in their pocket if somebody wanted to know, hey, where do we find this thing? And then they could pull them out and show them. We have had local businesses do some merchandising. So we're kind of working on that right now, right, Scott? So to get sort of that logo out there, that's, you know, in process. So we've had, this was from a different business that several years ago was offering these US 23 shirts for sale. We have done tourism trade shows. We don't do this anymore, but this was just an example of one of the tourism trade show booths that we did. We had the big Sunrise Coast banner and stuff. So that was pretty cool. We have, you know, had some exposure, you know, in terms of like, this was Michigan Blue magazine. There was a spread done on Sunrise side. We participated in the Back to the Bricks. That was way back in 2011. I can't believe that was 10 years ago, but they had the Michigan Mitten tour and they had US 23 signs in their cars. You know, when they were doing the Michigan Mitten tour, we had the logo stickers. I have some here. Well, we had big signs in the cars, but we also have these little window clings that, you know, we can get some more of those printed and you can give those out too. These were the signs. The right-hand side was in their car and then the left-hand side was the poster that businesses actually had up, some businesses had up in the communities. Oh, so the Discovery Tour. So for 3 years in a row, we did a weekend event. It was on Columbus Day weekend. So it was like a 4-day event where we called it the Lake Huron Discovery Tour, which was a sort of a plan your own trip event. Some of you may remember it. Some of you may have participated in it. It was really, what we did is we said, okay, we're going to pick a weekend and we're going to promote that weekend. And it's all up to you communities and you businesses to plan something for that weekend that people can come and visit. So the first one was actually the biggest. Okay, so this was what we said is we'll handle the promotion side and the fundraising side to get posters out there. This was an example of our poster. We'll fundraise to get advertising. I think we advertised in like the Detroit area. Okay, so in the Detroit and Ann Arbor area, actually, we had ads in the newspaper. And I'll tell you what, you think people don't look at that stuff anymore? They do. So when we advertise in that newspaper, the day that came out, our website use just went sky high, through the roof, higher than we'd ever seen it before. So what we did was we said, all right, we'll provide the platform, you provide the things to do. And then we assigned a lot of logins. So communities were uploading their events. Some communities went all out, where like Alpena had, I don't even know, they had tons of events all over town that day. Let me go. So these were all of our partners. Again, I don't expect you to read this slide. You're going to have this presentation, but these were all of our partners that participated in like helping promote and fund this event. We had over 100 events. So that first year there were over 100 events along the 200-mile stretch. We had billboards. Yeah, we did the mailer and the free press. We did radio ads, rat cards. We did, I'm not going to read that, but we did a ton of promotion. These were some of the examples of the events that happened along the route that weekend, like art scavenger hunt, history scavenger hunt. We had performances, the hot air balloons, I think were in Alpena, glass bottom boat tours. We had author presentations. Well, it was all over the board. There was no like theme to the events. It was just whatever. And sometimes it was just a business saying, hey, we're offering a sale. We'll offer a sale and we'll put a little US 23 sign out, in front of our business saying, hey, we're participating in the tour. We've got some special. What we did was we also had what we call a selfie campaign. So if you were offering something or some type of event or some reason for people to come see your thing, so they basically take a picture with this Discover Me on 23 sign, and they would put it outside. They would either put it in the yard or they would hold it up and take their picture and submit it to our Facebook page. And this was the most popular thing that everybody was doing. So I just included some examples of people out there with that 23 sign. Sometimes they just stuck it on a fence and say, hey, look at this beach, and these all got posted. This was a Thunder Bay Theater. I love that picture. Whether it's farm market, we got the Besser Museum, Trout Farm, just trails. It's just, hey, here's a bike route, We had the 23 thing was just popped up in every picture. It had to be in every picture to get on our website. The dinosaurs even participated. They got into action. The lieutenant governor even participated. He was a lieutenant governor at that time. He was part of the program. The next year, this was just so what we did in the beginning when we were planning it is we sent out like a postcard saying, hey, we're planning it. Here we are again. Like, let's get started. This was our CU on 23 in 2016. This was our to the communities postcard that says, hey, we're going to do this again. It just kind of explains how it works. So that was 3 years in a row till we had volunteer fatigue. And then we didn't do it anymore because it was a massive amount of time for really, it came down to like 5 people that organized it. So they got exhausted. So we stopped the tour. Not that we couldn't start it up again, but we would need more people than those 5. We did a Under the Radar campaign. We worked, so when Pure Michigan they started Scenic Route Sweepstakes. So we were the first region that they picked as the grand prize in the fall. So they offered basically a 3-day trip up 23, and it was on Discovery Tour weekend. And we had donations of restaurants and stuff. It was like a donation package that they offered, and it was great. That's the grand prize winners right there. They were really happy. So we had also a Georama, and that was actually done in Tawas Bay, and that was kind of a promotion of like a beginning to promote the Discovery Tour in 2016. this is 4 of those 5 people that did put all the work into the Discovery Tour. So I felt like they needed to have a place in the presentation because they did a ton of work. And right, you know, everybody knows you need a team of local champions to get anything done. And so they truly were those people. So we have won some awards. So back in 2011, I always get embarrassed doing these slides, but we did win in the National Association of Development Organizations, chose 4 projects in the United States that they felt demonstrated innovation, unique partnerships, strategic use of resources, which is a little tiny bit of resources, and impact on the region. And they actually, I was really shocked because there were projects in every state, multiple projects in every state that got submitted for this award, and they awarded it at our, we have a conference, and this was in Miami that year. And I was so confident that we were not going to win that award that my director and I, we sat, this is a huge room, we sat all the way at the back. And I wore the highest heels I've ever worn in my life because it's like, we don't have to go up there because you're not, you know, look at these, the rest of this, like the state of Florida hurricane evacuation plan. I mean, you know, we don't compare to these other large regional or statewide projects. And then we won one of the 4. So then I had to go all the way across that room in my high heels. So anyway, so that was great. And then in 2017, we won the Governor's Award for Innovative Tourism Collaboration, which was good. And there's some of those people again with Dave Lorenz. And then 2017 was the Emmy nomination, which we lost. This was just one of our Discover Me on 23 pictures that got posted. There's more to see on 23. So we use that slogan sometimes. I love that picture. So that's I very quickly also want to just, I'm not doing a second presentation, but I want to just also, because it's a partner program with 23, which is Up North Trails. And that is multi-regional trails collaboration. So very quickly, I'm not even going to go through most of these. Okay, well, this slide does, you're going to have this presentation, but this slide does tell who was involved in creating the Up North Trails program. So that's a trails website where we put all trails in our region, whether it's non-motorized, motorized, you know, horse trails, walking trails, bike trails. We have local trails, so it's not just state like DNR trails, but you know, federal, U.S. Forest Service trails. We also have local trails. We have all the trails on this one website. This is what it looks like. So I'd encourage you to also participate in that and making sure your community's trails are correct on this website. Each trail, so that's our picture of our trails, which is pretty cool because we have a lot of them. We have more trails than any of the other regions. So I don't know if you realize that, but we actually have more trails than even the Upper Peninsula regions. Each trail has its own, again, it's the same type of thing. Each trail has its own page on that website. You can see what the trail, you can actually click on the trail lines and get information about the different segments, whether it's a paved or unpaved or, you know, a boardwalk. It'll tell you like the weather, current weather conditions, where that trail is, some pictures. It'll tell like what's the nearest community. I'm going to skip this trail town thing. We also have signage. So that Up North Trails program created some signage that you can use, that communities can use if they want to use it. I think that signage might be on the Northeastern State Trail already, so you might be familiar with it. This was actually done through the Up North Trails program. Again, this is all free to use. This is, you know, any community can take these sign designs and start using them. Yeah, that's the Northeastern State Trail. This is just some of the real life signs. So these are going up kind of everywhere, and they don't even necessarily have to be for a specific trail system. At the Atlanta in Montmorency County put one up that just basically showed, is a kiosk that shows, hey, here's all of our trails surrounding our community. And so they just, you know, wasn't a specific trail it was on. It was just, we want you to know about our trails. So again, the same year that US 23 won the Governor's Award, we won another one for Up North Trails. So there's Denise feeling like an idiot being up there twice, like I'm hogging all the awards that year, right? So, but anyways, we're really proud of it. And that's the end. So let me see. I have to stop sharing my thing now, right?
I think you can send it back to me.
So that was a lot.
Yes.
That was amazing.
Well, thank you.
Wow.
So, I mean, I guess questions or, you know, like, I mean, I sort of inserted in there, like how communities and businesses already participate and how you can participate. It's a big program with a lot of moving pieces. Okay, so I guess I'm just open to discussion.
So I do have a question, and I did go on the U.S. Heritage site to look at it, and what you said there, that there's more to see on 23. That's great. I love that saying. That really is. But if there was a place like in Mackinac City, let's just say that, and there's a lot of mom and pop stores up there, tourism, and they need another boost.
Mhm.
And this is something free that they can do for themselves?
Yep.
Okay.
So when we initially had that upload done, basically each county team decided what they wanted to include. So like, for example, I think it was, let's say Alpena County team said, we want to make sure all of our local restaurants, not the McDonald's and stuff, but the local restaurants, the local shops, we want to make sure they're all represented in like the Eat, Shop, and Sleep. Obviously, the big attractions are obvious, but it was more, they were making decisions on those very local ones. And then you'd have another county team like in the Standish area that said, well, we want it all up there. You're very small. We don't have a lot to offer. So everything, even McDonald's and everybody's going to be up there. Okay. So you won't see a lot of consistency in terms of that, so there are, in some of the counties, you have local businesses that are getting the same exposure as the ones that probably don't need it, that everybody knows are there. But then in the other counties, you have something different. And then, like I said, in Alpena, I think they sort of look at it because the CVB really manages the Alpena attractions. So they make sure they're, the people that participate in the CVB are up there on the website. But anybody can do it. So I get requests all the time from local businesses that says, hey, I just found your website. Can I be part of it? And they just send me pictures and stuff, and I upload it up there.
So Denise, if one of our local businesses here in Sheboygan is not already on there, doesn't already have their login and information and stuff, how do they get that? Just contact you?
Just email me. So the contact us button on there always will send an email to me.
Okay.
And they can do it two different ways. They could say, hey, will you just upload our stuff? Because it doesn't change much. And just once it's up there, it's up there. We don't need to edit it.
Mhm.
And I'll do that. Or like the chamber has their own login. They could send it to you and say, can you get us up there? Or they could ask for their own.
Okay.
So like the example I showed you, the Queens had, so they have their own login and I can assign that. And it's, again, very easy. I mean, you have to know nothing about website editing. You have to know how to fill out a form online and click submit. And it just goes up there. Well, if it's the first time it goes up there, it's not live. It comes to me first. You'll have to tell me that you've put something up and then I have to approve it. But once it's up there, they can make all the changes they want if they want to do that, or they can ask me to do it.
Okay. Now, I do know you had, just a quick question on this one. On the event section, I know like Sheboygan Brewing, for example, they've got concerts like every Friday night, Saturday night. Are those things that are able to be put on that private
Any event that
section?
you want to put up there, the tourists might want to see.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's no limit. Like it doesn't have to be, only your major festivals, nothing like that. I mean, we've had businesses that just put up they have an event that they're doing and they put it up there.
So it'd be great for like the Opera House when they have, their shows and concerts and things, or when the DDA is having sidewalk sales or any events that way, parades, all that stuff. Okay.
In the past, just because it's a little bit hard because to get that knowledge out there that this is there, it's been a lot just kind of me, like I said, going and scouring through like this chamber's event page and saying, oh, here's some events that need to be up there. And I just grab it and I put it up there. But boy, it would be great. We do have some local communities that they make sure their events are up there. So I guess that's part of why it's really good to do this, because you may not have known, that you had that ability. So now what I'm hoping is I'll start to see more events. And again, if I don't, I'm still going to go scour you guys' pages because I want to make sure that your events are represented. But I don't have, this is one of those programs. It's a big program, very, very, very poorly funded. Okay, so we operate on a very small amount of money each year, and it doesn't take a lot because it's really already there. It doesn't maintain itself, but there's not a whole lot we have to do unless I start getting lots of requests. All of these things that we create, we go for grant funding to do them. So we don't have any sort of like pot of money, that's for this program. So we have to look for it whenever there's something to do. So that's why it's really good to have lots of participation in the web portion of it, because that's the biggest time,
Right.
I think that's the biggest time thing that we have to do is the website.
I do have one question. So when I go to a place, and I know that the goal is here for everybody to pick their own top 10, but when I go to a place, like if I'm gonna go to San Francisco, I always Google top 10 things to see in San Francisco. So if I decide to take this heritage tour, could I do top 10 things to see on the heritage tour?
I don't have that, so that's that'll be something I need to write down. That's an idea. We've never done that. I mean, so we designed it so that you look for what you're interested in. You know, if you're
Right.
interested in lighthouses, you can light up the lighthouses and create a tour for yourself. But I don't think we've not done a top 10. So I don't know. That's something that maybe that's something the management council can look at in terms of selecting that. You know, it'd be hard for 200 miles.
Yeah, would be. Would be.
You could do the
Denise, I have
top
a
10 in each
question.
county.
Yeah.
Sorry, Scott, what?
Is Heritage Route 23 on Instagram? And if so, what would be like a hashtag or?
I have not done Instagram. Again, I'm the worst person to have to manage. I would love if somebody else would do that because I'm just not a big social media user. So like I said, I'm the worst person to do that. It needs more exposure on social media, but I don't know how, you know, we don't have, like I said, we don't have a lot of funding, so we don't have a lot of hours to devote to it. So that's something that probably definitely needs to be created.
I'd like to talk to you about that because I delivered some of the merchandising last week and drove US 23 and I was taking photos and I was going to tag on my way. You know, I went to Austin
Yep.
Brothers Brewery, which was great, and just wanted to tag a few things. Maybe we could talk
Yeah,
offline
that'd be
about
great.
it.
That'd be great.
Any more questions or anything from anybody, or
This is
everybody kind of
amazing.
understand more about it? And it's a great program that we are underutilizing right now in Sheboygan. So I think after this, Denise, you guys are going to see kind of a enhanced presence for Sheboygan County through there.
That's wonderful. And what I'm also going to do is I'm going to send a box of materials to the chamber. Okay. Because you need to have all of these. I mean, actually what I'm going to send everything, including like the full set of all of the county's brochures instead of just Sheboygan County, because it just sort of shows, hey, here's a set of things to do all, and you know, keep people in the region longer, right? Because we're showing them all there is to do along the corridor. So, and then anything else, let me know if you need logins, you know, if you need things added, if you have photos so photos is something that we are really struggling with in terms of beautiful photos that we need to add to, you know, whether it's the Facebook page or just the website itself or our materials. It's difficult. We just don't have a lot of high resolution. I mean, I have a set of photos that actually Mdot drove the route in one summer, a beautiful day in the summer, and they took some beautiful photos, but that's it. And one thing that I don't have, they focused on like the beauty sites, right? The state parks and stuff. Community photos of your communities. I just don't have those, and I should. Those, because we need to promote the downtowns and stuff, and I just don't. Somebody asked me for photos. I think it was in Rogers City, asked if I had some great photos to use. It's like, I don't, but we should. So
For sure, I've got some access to some really good ones that we can send over to you.
That's
really
great.
soon here.
yeah, that's great. Because remember, and I always try to tell communities, this is not my program. This is your and this program belongs to the communities.
Yeah.
I'm just helping organize it and helping to staff it, but the communities run this program. So just remember that this is yours. This belongs to you. So
It's as good as we make it.
it's right.
Yes. Well, I think if no one else has any more questions, I really appreciate your time today, Denise, and teaching us about this. We've got some great community partners in here that will be very passionate in spreading the word. And we will also make this video available, like I said, on our website, so anybody can view it at any time to learn more about it and hopefully get a lot more participation from our area.
Good deal. That sounds great.
Great. Thank you so much again, Denise. And again, if anybody is interested, if you want us to put your information on it, the chamber can take care of that for you. We can get you your own login, however it's going to work best for you guys. But just thank you for being here today. And thank you everyone for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Polly. Thank you, Denise.
Bye, everybody.